let's squat, shall we? We always start with our warm-up squats just to get that blood flowing. So when you're ready, let's pop across to our mat. Feel free to hit play on any music if you wanted to move to some music. If not, let's head on over. Oh, this is really funny. Okay, so it's early, right? I've done this before. It's really early, yeah? It's always really early with Jazzy. My pants run inside out. Don't look. I just realised my tag is here. Oh, lucky I'm at home. Huh? I'll be on my... Anyway, good start to the day. Start with those feet, hip distance apart. Oh my goodness. Let's squat. Sink back into your parallel squat. Feet staying parallel. That means the toes are pointing forward and the bottom is pressing back. So when you sink into that squat, just be mindful that it feels like your bottom is sinking into that stool or chair behind you. So when you sink back, those knees will stay behind the toes. You can hinge forward at the waist. When you do that though, make sure you're grounding into that upper back. So keep that belly pull into the spine. You keep the spine nice and straight, but it becomes a diagonal as you push those hips back. So it's that diagonal line as the bottom presses back, heels press to the floor, knees stay behind the toes, and we squat. So just allow yourself to sink as deep as your knees and ankles feel good. You want to get to that point where you're starting to feel just a little bit breathless with your squats, just getting that heart rate up. And as soon as we do that, means the blood's starting to flow through the whole body. All the muscles will start to get a little warmer. Let's sink for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, stay down on 1 and take a little pulse. So just little pulses down low. Drive those heels to the floor. Pull that belly to the spine. You've got 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press it all the way up. Oh yeah, warm already. Toes turn out. As the toes turn out, step them a little wider. With your arms, thumbs face up, arms straight. Make a fist, pull those elbows in. Arms forward, elbows in. Forward and in. As you take wide squat, those knees are heading out over those toes. Drive those heels to the floor. So now your spine is a little more upright. Not quite upright, but not as far forward as your parallel squats. So again, squeeze into those hips as you stand tall. Working a little through those inner thighs here as well. Start to find that breath. Thumbs up forward, fists in. Let's go for 5 more. 4, 3, 2, last one, elbows in, forearms follow the direction of your thighs, hold the low squat. We press the arms out, bring them in, out, bring them in. If it's too much in the low squat, stand tall, continue with the arms. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elbows in, stand tall. Yeah, nice and warm. Sink down for 1. We pulse. Little pulses. Belly stays on, shoulders stay relaxed, neck stays long. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press it up, heel and toe. Those feet together. Last round, plie squats. Heels together, toes turn out. Fingertips point forward, elbows are bent. As you plie, lateral raise. Fan those elbows away from the waist. So as you take that plie action, you just sink as deep as your ankles allow you to here. So often if you've had an old ankle injury, you'll find that you might compensate, you might sink deeper, but you'll be leaning off into the opposite foot. So be really mindful of both heels, pressing firmly to the floor. Sink as deep as the ankles first let you, then the knees, then the hips. We zip and lace up that corset around the waist. We're long in the spine now, so you're super tall in this plie squat. Let's go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Elbows in, heels lift, halfway up, pulse. Squeezing those heels together, drawing the belly to spine, shoulders melt down and back. And then you take it low for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press it up, heels down, shake those legs, grab yourselves a very quick drink, and then we will head to the top of your mat. Kat, you're here this morning as well. Amazing. Yes, Rose, I know. Just in Jazzy style. You would never have known though. It's just the tag I felt behind my pants. Let's roll down, feet hip distance apart. Chin down towards your chest. Roll down through the spine. One segment at a time. Now remember, with the roll downs, you might start to feel a little stiff first thing in the morning, so please bend the knees if you need to. When you come back up, do bend the knees and then roll yourselves back up. So you just want to use the roll down to warm up, but also assess what you're feeling in your body. So chin towards your chest, stretching the back of the neck. Think about those building blocks of your spine gently opening as they fall one at a time forward with control. And get as far as you can. Soften the knees and roll back up. Oh, that's good. 2 more. Chin to chest, roll down. Again, as you're rolling down, you start to feel it probably in the back of your hips, down the backs of the hamstrings, the calves. Just acknowledge that you're just warming up, so don't push yourself too far. Let's go once more. Alright, so once we're down, we stay down. Those arms dangle heavy, your head dangles heavy. So maybe even just a gentle nod of the head. So even with that nod of the head, you'll recognize that connection of all of the tissues from the brain, the skull, the base of the neck, even to the back of your hips and to the heels of your feet. Let's take a nice big, deep, full breath in here. All the way out. Bending that left knee only, keep the heels flat. So you'll feel the stretch up the back of the right leg just a little bit more. And then you'll swap sides, bending that right knee, left leg is straight, folding from the waist. And then you'll bend both knees and slowly roll back up. The shoulders are roll at the top. Nice work, guys. Coming to the floor Pilates style, or just best way you can Pilates style, is genie your arms, cross one foot over the other, bend your knees, and lower to the floor with control. Once you're down, feet and knees are hip distance apart, you'll start to slowly lower to your backs. So once you lie down, shoulder blades are flat, chest feels nice and open, you've got that broadening of the collarbones here. Feet and knees are hip distance apart, take your pelvic rock, warm up into that low back. So with the pelvic rock, you tilt that pelvis forward and back. As you're tilting forward, the low back arches. As you're tilting back, the low back is pressing to the floor. So at no time here do you lift your hips from the floor. You just rock that pelvis forward and back. Some of you, it might be easier to think about the pubic bone at the front of that pelvic bowl. It nods towards you and then nods away. As it's nodding towards you, think about that scooping of the abdominals like you're zipping into that tight pair of pants. So we're starting to activate that deeper layer of the abdominals more consciously. So you zip from pubic bone to belly button and then equally lace from the edges of the waist towards that belly button. So think about that T shape around that lower tummy. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. As you tilt the pelvis back, low back presses towards the floor, float your legs to tabletop. Now, once you're here, adjust the pelvis so there's a very small curve in your low back. So make that subtle adjustment, then draw the belly in and up. Now float your legs, lower one foot forward, tap the toes, and then the other. So as simple as this action looks, the key is about keeping the stability around the pelvis and that torso. So the back of the sacrum is anchored to the floor. You're floating those legs from the ball of your hip joint and you're zipping and lacing up this midsection. So there's no flaring or ballooning of the abdominals. There's no excess movement around the pelvis. The legs just float from the ball of the hip joint. Very mindful, very controlled. If some of you want the challenge of double legs, bring the knees and feet together, lower both feet forward. It's at this stage you'll find maybe the low back wants to overarch if those abdominals aren't switching on. So keep that zip from pubic bone to belly button. Maintain that small curve in the low back. Last 3. Last 2. And then rest those feet down on 1. Take a little window wiper, let those knees just casually fall from left to right. So a nice little rotation into the hips and into the low back. And then when you're ready, we're going to hug that left knee in towards your chest. Just give the low back a little stretch and reach the right leg long. So when we hug the thigh to the chest, you're also giving that hip and knee a nice nourishing stretch as well. So it's like a compressive stress to those joints. And then when we release, you get this flush of new blood. So we'll take the hands behind the thigh now and then try and straighten and bend that left knee. So again, mindfully articulating the knee joint, that's a hinge joint as we flex and extend here, but equally starting to floss those nerves that run the back of your leg. And then if you can, you'll keep your leg as straight as you can and now point and flex the ankle. So you'll notice that stretch into the calf, but also those nerves that run from the low back all the way down the back of the leg to the sole of the foot. And then hug that left knee back in towards your chest. Let's swap sides, right knee in. Left leg long. These are really nice series of just stretches to do probably every morning. If some of you aren't here every morning, even take that time to do these ones. Hold behind the thigh and just straighten and bend. If you like, you'll probably hear a little creaking through the patella, the kneecap. Let's keep that leg long and straight now. Point and flex that ankle. Keep stretching gently through the calf, but also just that wakening up of those nerves that run the back of the leg all the way down to the foot. And then you'll hug that right knee back in. Then we'll hug both knees into our chest and then float those legs through to tabletop. Once the legs come to tabletop, take those fingertips just to behind your ears. We take our chest lift here. Inhale, chin towards the chest. Exhale, lift the shoulder blades and lower back down. If for some of you this is too much with those legs in tabletop, you'll lower the feet back to the floor and continue to find your chest lift here. Otherwise, a little challenge for you this morning. Let's explore that chest lift with the legs in tabletop. You want to make sure the front of the neck stays nice and long, so you're not just jamming the chin towards your chest. You're curling those shoulder blades from the floor and that rib cage is gliding forward towards the front of those hips. Let's go 3 more. 2. Next one at the top, you'll stay at the top. Once you arrive here, sweep those arms by your side, pump your arms. If your legs or feet were on the floor, you might like to bring them back up to tabletop now. So as we pump those arms, you should feel the tips of your shoulder blades still in contact with the floor. Try not to have your head hanging back here. That's when you'll strain your neck. So you want your chin towards your chest and then curl those shoulder blades from the floor. So a lot of the weight of your head is forward over that chest bone. Long, straight arms pumping from the shoulder joint, fingers are flared, wrist stays straight, in through the nose for 5 pumps, out through the mouth for 5 pumps. 2 more breaths. Rest your head back down, hug your knees back in towards your chest, a little rock from left to right. And then when you're ready, let's float those legs through to tabletop, pop those arms onto a T at shoulder height. As we find our knee rolls, breathe in, let the legs roll across your body. Use the muscles of the waist to pull those legs back through center. Inhale, legs come across the body. Exhale, pull them back through center. So again, really use that muscular effort of your waist to move your legs from left to right. It's very easy to just let the knees fall from left to right without that activation, but really allow yourself to recognize these muscles of the waist, bringing the weight of those legs back through midline. Using the out breath to bring them back in. Let's go 2 more both sides. resting your feet back down. Good job. Let's let those feet rest, knees stay there, elbows to waist, fingertips to the sky. Let's take those robot arms. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. So we keep the wrist nice and straight. So don't let the hands extend back. Move from the joint of your shoulder now, keeping the elbows tucked in close to the waist, and try not to compensate for any tightness in the chest by arching through that middle back. Keeping that neck nice and long, so make any adjustments with your head. Last two. Last one. Reaching those arms overhead for snow angels. Elbows stay bent. Inhale. Exhale. Pull the elbows back to the waist. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, pull them in. Again, I want you to feel like you're creating resistance as you pull those elbows back to your waist. Pull them in like you're pulling against thick, sticky honey, or dragging them through that thick, sticky honey. Chest stays open, neck stays long. Last two. Last one. Hands meet back above your head. And you can just let the fingers rest, don't interlace the hands. Chin towards your chest, curl up into the chest lift. Float your arms back by your side. Bring the legs back to tabletop. This time the choice to extend your legs long. 5 breaths for the 100. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Which would in fact make it to 50, because we breathe in through the nose for 5 pumps, out through the mouth for 5 pumps. That's 10. So 10 for 1 breath. So the 100 is 10 breaths, so 10 by 10. Hence the name, the 100. You don't really need to know the maths this morning, or do you? 1 more breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Hug those knees back in towards your chest. We may have just done a 60, but that's okay. A little rock from left to right. All right, we're going to place those feet back to the floor and take your bridge curl, just to give your neck a little break. We're breaking up the abs with your bridge. Feet and knees are hip distance apart. So with your bridge curl this morning, you tilt that pelvis back like you do in the pelvic rock, and then you squeeze the glutes and start to lift the spine from the floor. And then you'll start to stagger the spine back down to the mat. So you'll tilt that pelvis back, you'll feel the low back press to the floor, and then you start to peel the spine from the floor 1 segment at a time. Ensure you've got this corset wrapped and zipped around your waist. So when you get to the top of your bridge, again, just checking that those ribs aren't there, and keep the ribs gliding forward towards the front of those hips. And feel the weight coming down through both feet nice and evenly. Again, this is just that beautiful articulation of the spine. We're going to go once more, nice and controlled. Once you get to the top, we'll stay at the top. So feel the heels press to the floor, and just a gentle squeeze of those glutes as you pulse those hips to the sky. So a little activation of those glutes now. Again, keeping that rib cage gliding forward, keeping the front of the pelvis level. Both heels pressing evenly, squeeze and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the spine with control. Hug those knees back into your chest. Bring your head up to your knees. When you're ready, single knee stretch, reach one leg forward, and then you swap. Outside hand to the ankle, inside hand to the knee. Again, curling the upper back from the floor, weight of the head is forward, front of the neck is long. If you're straining through the neck, you might not be able to lift as high just yet, so maybe rest the head intermittently if you need to. From left to right, nice and long and graceful through that straight leg, reaching away from the body. Let's go 3, 2, 1, both sides, and hug the knees in, rest your head back down. Feet back to the floor, thumbs tuck under the buttocks, shoulder blades are flat, chest is open. Float the legs back to tabletop. When you're ready, keep the legs in tabletop, but try and bring the thighs just a little bit closer to you. So from here, keeping them in this shape, just lift and lower the backs of your hips, pressing those palms down to the floor. Lift, lift, lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press those feet down. Take a little window wiper, knees forward, left to right. Starting to feel those abs now, warming up. And then feet back to hip distance apart. Arms can stay on the floor, or more challenging, you bring those arms up and turn your palms to face forward. Tilt the pelvis, squeeze the glutes and roll back up into your bridge. Now, once you get to the top, pubic bone is nodding towards the nose. Belly stays pulling to the spine. Heels press firmly to the floor. When you're ready, lower the hips, take the arms overhead, and then squeeze the glutes, lift the arms. So everything lowers, everything lifts. Focus on the squeeze of those glutes now as you press the front of the hips to the sky. Using that out breath as you press up. Last 5. Last 1. Slowly lower the hips down. Sweep the arms by your side and bring the knees back into your chest. Hands to the tops of your shins. Double leg stretch. Everything opens, everything closes. Arms overhead to open. Sweep them by your side to close. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2. Last 1. Rest your head back to the floor. Feet back to the floor. Option to keep the hands in the air or keep them by your side. Tilt that pelvis, squeeze your glutes, roll up into your bridge. Once you get to the top, come to your tippy toes. Heels are lifted. Front of the pelvis lifts, pubic bone nodding towards the nose. Draw the belly in and up. Keep the hips lifted. Open the arms wide and close. Open and close. Maintain that stillness through the pelvis and lower half of the body. Keep the glutes squeezed as the front of the pelvis is pressing to the sky. Open and close for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower the spine back down. Float the legs back to tabletop. Take the hands behind your head. Curl up into the chest lift. Straighten the legs to the air. Reach your hands to the toes. Reach, reach, reach. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Scissors. Slice your legs with control. If your neck is straining, rest your head. Try and have a long, straight leg. I want to see those legs long and straight. Some of you tend to bend the knee. Bend the knee if those hamstrings are really tight. Otherwise, just hold behind the thigh with a long, straight leg. The straighter the leg gets, the closer to the ankle you should hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both sides. Rest yourselves back down. Feet back to the floor. Doing well, guys. Nearly there. Arms in the air if you want to challenge. Keep them on the floor otherwise. So feet and knees are a little closer than hip distance. Tilt that pelvis, squeeze your glutes. Roll on up. Take a moment at the top. Reset with the breath. Heels are pressing to the floor. Pubic bones nodding to the nose. Bellies are zipped and laced. When you're ready, we float that left leg into the air. Tap your toes to the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep the left leg in tabletop. Lower the pelvis down. Press up. Squeezing the right glute. So that's the grounded leg. Squeeze that glute to press up. Press up. Feeling that hamstring too. You've got 4. You've got 3, 2, 1 at the top. Lower the left foot. Reset those feet. Lift the hips. Pubic bone to nose. Right leg floats. Tap the toes. So stable and strong through this left leg. Floating the right leg through the air. Last 3, 2, and 1. Keep the right leg up. Single leg bridge, lower down. Press up. Squeeze that left glute, press up. Press up. Squeeze that left glute, press up. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, And one, lower that right foot, lower the spine back to the floor, interlace the fingers, hug those knees into your chest. Give that low back some love. Nice work. As we take our crisscross, you will float those legs back through to tabletop. Take your hands back behind your head. Curl up into the chest lift. Opposite elbow to opposite knee. Again, use the rotation of the torso so the elbow can find the knee. Don't just use the muscles of the chest. So keep the chest lifted and feel the twist. Nice and graceful. Four more. 3, 2, 1, both sides. Good job, guys. Rest it back down. Take a moment, float those legs to tabletop, arms out into a T. Let your knees fall to the left and remain here. One big full breath. Float those legs back through center. Let them fall to the right. Big full breath. Float those legs back through center. Land your feet back to the floor. Arms back up into the air as a challenge. If not, keep them on the floor. Feet a little closer than hip distance. Tilt that pelvis, squeeze your glutes, and roll that spine up. Pubic bone nods towards the nose. Left leg will float. Working the brain now. Tap your left thumb, tap your left toes, right thumb. So taking the opposite arm overhead. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Right arm comes back up. You got it? Right leg floats. So opposite arm taps overhead. Keeping those hips lifted. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Left arm back up, lower the spine back to the floor. Float your legs to tabletop, hands behind your head. Curl up. I promise this is the last blast. Reach the legs to the sky, hands to the toes. 5, reach. 4, 3, 2, scissors, slice for 5. 4, 3, 2, 1, double leg stretch, knees in, open for 3, 2, 1, single knee stretch, reach one leg forward and squat for 3, 2, 1, both sides. If you can, crisscross, legs to tabletop, hands to behind the head. Stay strong, stay with me, make it worth it for 4, 3, 2, 1, both sides, knees in, roll like a ball, all the way up. Kelly and Babs, if you're out there this morning, this is how we do it, 6:15 every morning. We move, we breathe, because we love our bodies. Take a drink if you need to, guys. We're moving into spine stretch forward next. Still can't believe my pants are on inside out. Thumbs to the sky, sit bones to the floor, crown of the head to the sky. Remember, bend your knees if you can't sit with the spine straight. Chin towards your chest, roll down, duck in and under that low ceiling, reach forward, and then slowly sit back up nice and tall. So imagine your spine is building blocks, one at a time, they're falling forward. And then one at a time, we stack them back up. Feel like you're ducking in and under that low ceiling to reach forward and then coming back out the same way. So you won't in fact move your arms, the arms will just change directions because of the flexion of your spine. Inhale at the top, exhale, reach forward. Two more. Once more. Stay forward. Hold your furthest point. Feet, chins, ankles, wherever you can reach. You might like to deepen the stretch by gently flexing the front of your thighs. That means activating the front of the thighs. Draw the belly to spine. And then with your out breath, bend the elbows and try and fold a little bit deeper. And you'll gently release. Take that left foot in. So the left foot is resting to the inside of that right thigh. When you're ready, take that left arm to the floor behind you. Gently lift the hips open through the front of those hips. Press those hips forward. And then slowly lower the hips and now fold over that right leg. Stretch into the spine. Nice big full breath. And release. Left leg long, right foot comes in. Take that right arm back behind you. Sweep the left arm forward, lift your hips, press those hips forward, open through the front of those hips. And then lower the hips back to the floor. Fold over that left leg. And then you gently release. Bring the soles of your feet together. Take a moment to flutter those knees. So with our roll downs, if some of you need a cushion, that might help assist you to roll down and come back up. So you'll just place maybe a little lounge cushion, or even if you've got a bed pillow, that will be okay. So the knees will be bent. Again, don't have the heels too close. That crowds your hips. Have the feet slightly forward. Have the pillow supporting the back of the pelvis. Arms out in front. Tilt through the pelvis, lower the lower back, middle back, upper back, arms overhead, arms up, chin up, curl through the spine and come up. So remember, you're flexing through the spine as you come down, and then encourage that flexion, so the rib cage glides towards the front of those hips as you curl back up. Again, articulating through the spine, but moving with the strength of those abdominals. You'll inhale at the top, exhale, roll down, inhale overhead, exhale, curl back up. One more round. As you come back to the top, lever back, scoop the bellies, breathe in and open, breathe out and close. Breathe in and open, breathe out and close. Keep those knees as still as you can, rotate from that waist. One more, both sides. As you come back to center, soles of the feet come together, pull those heels in, flutter those knees, gently lean that chest forward. As we take our rotations now, so again, if some of you are really tight in the hamstrings, you may in fact find sitting up a little higher. So if you've got a pillow, you might perch the hips a little higher. That will make the rotation a little more accessible. Otherwise, you can bend your knees. Otherwise, legs straight. Fingertips just rest behind your ears. Elbows are nice and wide. Inhale, center. Twist to one side, exhale. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Now, as you're twisting from the waist. So really, that means that your legs should not be moving. So if you're seeing one leg pull back with you, you're starting to shift from the pelvis. So keep that pelvis, those sit bones anchored to the floor, and feel this rotation coming from around the base of your rib cage. Keep the crown of the head lengthening to the sky. Twist. Rinse out that waist. Twist. One more, both directions. As you come back through center, slide those feet wide, arms out into a T. Inhale, center. Exhale, saw twist, turn the back thumb down, little finger of the front arm reaches twice to the little toe. Reach twice with a double exhale. So inhale, and then out through the mouth. One more, both sides. Relax your arms, soles of the feet come together, flutter those knees. Good job, guys. We're going to come to our sides into open book now. So if you didn't use your pillow for your roll downs, you might need your pillow or a yoga block now. So you'll place the pillow to one end of your mat and you'll come down to light on your side. Your knees and your feet will line up with the front edge of your mat, and you want to keep your hips and your knees at 90 degrees. Glue those knees together, stack your palms in front at shoulder height. Inhale, take that top arm all the way back behind you, and then exhale, bring it back out in front. Trace the line along the skin of your forearm, upper arm, chest, and then all the way back behind you. As you take that arm back, just watch that your top knee stays glued to your bottom knee. Again, your pelvis stays fixed as your spine rotates on your pelvis. Inhale, take that arm back. Exhale, bring it back in front. Take those rainbow arches now if you can. Inhale, arm up and overhead, back behind you. Up and overhead, out in front. Up and overhead, back behind you. Up and overhead, back in front. Couple more. Keep the arm back behind you once it's here. You'll bend that elbow, palm will face up. Let the weight of the arm just stretch your chest and maybe the muscles of the waist. Take a nice deep full breath in. All the way out. As you gently release that arm back out in front. We're going to straighten that bottom arm. You can either keep your head resting on the pillow or rest your head on your arm. Pull those toes to your nose. Top hand on the floor in front. Double legs. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. 5 and lower. 4, 3, 2. Keep your legs up and clap your feet for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top leg only. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs come together, lift higher, bottom leg lowers and lifts. 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep those legs together, double legs pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest the legs down. Top leg lifts with a point, flex your foot, drag the heel down. Point to the sky, flex and lower. Lift the leg as high as your hip is comfortable. Keep that belly zipped and laced. Last 5. Last 4. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. As the leg comes down now, drag the big toe along the lower shin, knee points up, straighten the leg, flex and lower. Drag the big toe in, straighten the leg, flex and lower. Last 4, last 3, last 2, last 1. So nice. Slowly press your way up. We're swinging those legs to the other end, taking open book on the other side. So as you come down to your side, let your heads rest down, knees and feet line up with the front edge of your mat, 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees. Stack your palms in front at shoulder height. Inhale, trace that line, take the arm all the way back behind you. And then exhale, bring that arm back out in front. So again, watch that top knee stays where it is. As that arm heads back behind you. Inhale, arm back. Exhale, back in front. You may even notice there are some subtle differences as you find these rotations from one side to the other. So just allow yourselves to recognize any of those just subtle imbalances. And when you're ready, we'll take the rainbow arches, arm up and overhead, back behind you, inhale, up and overhead, out in front, exhale, up and overhead, inhale, up and overhead, exhale, 2 more. Next one back behind you, let's keep it there, bending the elbow, palm faces up. Breathe into that chest. With the weight of the arms, stretch the chest and the waist. Slowly bringing that arm back out in front. Straighten your bottom arm. You can either support your head with your arm or continue to use your pillow. Legs long, feet flexed, legs slightly in front of your hips. Top hand on the floor, double legs lift and lower. So again, keep those legs glued together. Your waist is picking up those 2 legs. It will feel like one solid piece. We lift and lower. 5 and lower. 4 and lower. 3, 2, stay at the top. 1, clap your feet. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top leg only. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Legs come together, lift higher, bottom leg lowers and lifts. 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep those legs together, double legs pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest your legs. Top leg lifts with a point. Flex your foot, drag the heel down. Again, you just lift your leg as high as you know the movement's coming from the hip, nice and comfortably. Pressing out behind that knee, drawing the belly in. The heel will come to the floor just in front of your bottom foot. Let's go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We now drag the big toe in, knee points up, straighten the leg, flex the foot and lower, point the toes as you drag the big toe along that lower shin. Encourage your knee to point upward, not forward, but again upward, so the rotation is still coming from your hip. You're not twisting into the pelvis or the low back. Last 4, last 3, last 2, last 1, and rest your leg back down. When you're ready, press your way up. We're taking our mermaid and pigeon stretch now. So you'll turn your left foot in, right foot out. So the shape of your legs will be this: left foot in, right foot out. Hold that left knee with your right hand and take that nice big side stretch. Reaching that arm overhead. And then slowly press back up. Scoot that right leg back now and fold into your pigeon stretch. You might come down to the elbows or stay upright. Your choice as you open into those hips. From here, guys, you'll sit the weight into that left hip. You'll bring your knees back so you're sitting on the sides of your mat. Take wide legs, fold forward. Slowly press back up, bend your knees, turn your feet. So now you're at the other end of your mat. Your right foot is in, left foot is out. It's a bit fancy, wasn't it? Hold your right knee with your left hand and take that right arm overhead. Stretch into that waist. And then slowly pressing back up. Scoot that left leg back, find your pigeon. Fold over that right leg. Back to wide leg stretch. Sit the weight into that right hip. Use the movement of those hips. Bring your knees back. So as you go and sit to the floor, lengthen the legs long, flex your feet, hinge forward from the waist, stretch into those inner thighs. Walk the hands around to the right foot, fold. Option to take a little twist for that low back, right elbow into the inside of that right knee, left arm up. Left arm may come overhead, anchor that left hip to the floor, stretch into the low back waist. Fold back through center, walk the hands over to the left foot, fold over the left leg, option to stay right here. Option to take a twist, left elbow inside of left knee, right arm up. Option to then take that right arm overhead, keep the right hip anchored to the floor. And then fold back through center, reach those fingertips forward one last time. And then slowly walk those fingers back, bend your knees. When you're ready, guys, grab a quick drink, flip on over to all fours. Let's do a quick series on all fours, 4-point kneel, and then we'll stretch it out some more. So once you come to 4-point kneel, hands and knees towards the top of your mat. Fingers spread nice and wide. So once we're here, pressing that floor away. So I want to see you engaging through that upper body. So don't let the chest just drop. Push the floor away. But again, some of you find that as you push the floor away, you're just flexing the spine. Don't move the spine. The spine stays long and straight. You are pushing the floor away, shoulder blades wide open. Chin slightly tucks back of the neck long. Now you can adjust the arch in that middle to low back. So tuck the tailbone under, find that natural curve of the low back here. Keep pressing the floor away through those hands. Again, really mindful of the movement. Even some of you have been practicing every day for a long time. Press that floor away. Keep it strong, keep it active. Draw the belly in, tuck your toes under, lift your knees an inch from the floor and hold. Press that floor away. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears. Neck is nice and long, no shrugging through that upper back. Don't let that middle back dip. So tuck the tailbone under, think about those ribs gliding towards the front of the hips. Even here, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the knees down. Unravel the toes, same thing again, but with the front of your feet on the floor. Adjust the upper body. Press the floor away. Neck is nice and long. Ribs pull in. Belly to spine. Hover the shins. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the knees. Tuck the toes. Lift the knees. Step the feet back. High plank. Press that floor away, guys. If you need to lower to the knees, you can. Otherwise, stay on those toes. Flex your thighs. Belly to spine. Breathe. As you turn the feet to one side, take your side plank, press the floor away and reach that top arm. And then bring it back to high plank. Turn your feet to the opposite side. Rotate the bottom hip through, reaching that right arm up or up the top arm up. And then back to high plank. Once you arrive to high plank, lift those hips to down dog. So we'll be moving through our push-up series now. So any of you who need to make any changes here, you might find that you prefer doing push-ups against the back of your couch and or a chair. So when you're ready from down dog, if you're still on your mat, we'll walk those hands back to our feet. Once we arrive here, head dangles, soften the knees and roll back up. When you're ready, let's roll down. Chin to chest, rolling down through the spine. Head and arms fall heavy. Once the hands find the floor, maybe bending the knees if you need to with control. Walk those hands forward, back to the top of your mat. Outside edge of the mat, you have the choice to stay on the toes or lower the knees. You'll bend the elbows 45 degrees from the waist. The chest lowers to between the thumbs. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press back, down facing dog. As you walk the hands back to the feet. Bring the heels to the earth, soften the knees, and roll back up. One more round, chin to chest, rolling down. Head and arms fall heavy. As your hands find the floor, walk your hands forward, wide on the mat. Lower the hips into your plank. Lower the knees if you need. When you're ready, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press back to child's pose this time. So if you're on the toes, lower the knees, bottoms to your heels, head to the floor, find your breath. Walk the hands a big step to the left, reaching with that right arm, keep the right hip going back. Back through center, big step to the right, reaching with that left arm. Back through center. When you're ready, slowly roll forward, bend your elbows close to the body and lower your chest to the floor. Legs together, toes point back. Keep the hands beside the chest, keep those elbows tucked in. Draw the belly to spine, hand flogger. When you're ready, lift the chest and lower. Lift and lower. 8 and lower. Extending your spine. Last 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest yourselves down. Take the right hand to support your head so that your head rests on your right hand. Bend your left knee. Try and catch that left foot with your left hand. Pull the heel to your buttocks. So stretch through the front of that left thigh. Now gently release, swap sides, left hand supports your head, bend your right knee, pull the heel to your buttocks, pulling that heel in, stretching the front of that right thigh. If you can, my friends, you'll now slide that left hand back, bend your left knee, catch both feet, and when you're ready, belly to spine, chest lift, thighs lift, press those hands into the feet, feet into the hands, open through the front of the chest. Keep the gaze looking forward, lifting those thighs with a squeeze of those glutes for 3, for 2, and 1. Lower back down, hands beneath the shoulders, stretch that lower back, press your bottoms back to your heels. Let that belly maybe gently sway between the thighs, open into that low back. One more big breath. Good job, guys. When you're ready, come back to all fours, tuck the toes under, lift those hips. When you're ready, hands walk to your feet. Take a moment, dangle at the back end of your mat. Letting that head fall heavy. Breathe. As you now soften those knees, roll back up through the spines. Give the shoulders a roll at the top. Good job. Time to grab your straps and grab your blocks. So if you don't have blocks, again, you can use just a nice lounge pillow or a pillow from your bed. Have them handy towards the top of your mat. And when you're ready, you might come back down Pilates style. We practice, we get better. You genie your arms, you cross one foot. And when you're ready, bend your knees, lower to the floor with control. As you lie back down, strap over the ball of your left foot. As that left leg comes up, right leg runs along. And or just come back to your backs and bring that left leg up into the air. So once the left leg is up, head, neck and shoulders are nice and relaxed. Anchor the back of the left hip to the floor. Press the heel of your left foot to the sky. To deepen the stretch, you might encourage the toes to pull to the nose. You may even flex the front of your thigh a little more. Focus on the breath. Feel the lower back pressing back to the floor. So we take the strap into the right hand, pull the leg across your body, let the lower back twist. Left arm stays out to the side. Breathe into that twist. As that leg comes back through center, swap hands, take the leg over to the left. Keep the back of the right hip anchored to the floor, pressing that heel away. Breathe. Slowly bring that leg back to center. Bend your knee, release the strap. Let that leg lie long. Feel the difference. And then the right leg comes up. So again, hip, neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. Feel that low back pressing to the floor. Heel pressing up, toes pulling down. Breathe. Taking the stroke into your left hand, pull the leg across your body. Right arm pops out to the side, twisting into that spine, stretching into the back of the hip. Leg comes back through center, holding with the other hand, take it over to the right, working through that inner thigh, keep the back of the left hip anchored. And then you'll bring that leg back through center, bend your knee, release the strap. Take a moment to reset those hips, so knees bent, feet flat, gently lift and lower those hips, and then straighten those legs back to the floor. If you've got time to stick around, let's stretch those spines with your blocks. If you don't have blocks, remember you can just use your bed pillow or a pillow. So if you were to use a pillow, you might find that you'll just place it under the bra line. So around that middle back area, just to encourage this extension of the upper back and openness of the chest. So you might just take shape here. Otherwise, if some of you wanted to deepen that, you could in fact have a bed pillow that you fold in half. So if you were to fold that bed pillow in half, run it again just under that bra line, and then it gives you a little bit more extension to then fold back. You can take the arms overhead, that will deepen the stretch, or just keep them out to the side. Those who have blocks, you find your T shape, run one vertically between the shoulder blades, and the second one to support your head. So just give yourself a moment now, you're just stretching gently through those abdominals, through the front of your abdomen, and also extending your middle back. Opening through the chest. Just lie back, shut down the eyes. Let your blocks and pillows do the work. So try to let the body rest here. Focus on that breath. If the arms are overhead, you'll start to bring them a little closer to the side. You might, in fact, now bend your knees and just let your bodies roll to one side to remove your props. As you remove your props, then take that moment, just lie back, let the spine reset to the floor. And then you'll finish with your low back. So again, you can use the pillow or a block. You'll bend your knees, lift your hips, and slide it under the back of the pelvis. So it's a really nice subtle stretch to the hip flexors, so to the front of your thighs and the front of your hips. So again, if you want a little bit more height, just fold that pillow in half. That'll give the pelvis a bit more of a lift, and then you'll find that you'll feel the stretch a little bit more. If there is too much compression, however, in the low back, you might need to come back to a lower platform, or you might need to, in fact, bend your knees just a little bit. So again, arms could be as wide as you feel comfortable, legs fall heavy. Just give yourself that moment open through the front of those hips. So for a lot of you, if you spend your time sitting at your desk, this is a beautiful stretch. Even you could come to this maybe at your lunch break and certainly at the end of your day. Just open up through those hip flexors. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, feet flat. Just take a moment, let the back of the pelvis adjust here. And then when you're ready, squeeze the glutes, lift your hips, remove your props, and then take a moment to lie back. Some of you might want to hug those knees into your chest, and then let your legs run long. As the legs run long, let your arms rest wide. Take a moment now, guys. It's always nice if you can give yourself that time, just a minute or two, to lie flat. Let your body absorb the practice. Let it be in the goodness of your Pilates workout. And then in your own time, when you're ready, you can bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Give yourself a moment to take that nice, deep, full breath in, all the way out. Something to consider today. From to be magnetic, what you're desperately trying to get from others is actually what you need to give to yourself. So what you might like to consider today is, what is it that you're seeking from others? And how can I give it to myself? How can I give it to myself? Take a nice deep, full breath in. All the way out. Amazing. Reach those arms overhead when you're ready, guys. Wriggle those fingers and toes. And slowly